No one can tell you how to embody the femininity that God created inside you, your personality that's particularly suited to you. And here's the important part. You cannot learn how to swim in estrogen from a creature that walks in testosterone. A man who thinks in rigid, concrete terms of black and white cannot teach a woman how to embody all the colors she carries around inside of her. But that's what I had been doing for 30 years, almost my whole walk of salvation. I had been listening only to the masculine perspective of 1 Peter 3 and doing it in a masculine way. But it wasn't just 1 Peter 3 that I got completely wrong. It was everything I read in the Bible about marriage. It was every Christian teaching about marriage and womanhood. It had all been wrong for me, a woman. I had been gauging all of it through a masculine mindset. I thought doing the role of a wife was femininity. That's completely wrong. There's a quote that goes something like, when the risk to remain inside a bud is more painful than the risk it takes to blossom, you will seek to change. And that's what happened. I didn't know what the future held, but I couldn't live in this ugly, painful tension and disharmony anymore. Submission was not the answer that Christendom had touted that it was. Instead, the more I practiced their kind of submission, I felt destroyed, disillusioned. But not only that, I felt like I was barely alive, like barely seen and barely a participant in my own marriage. I felt like a non-person, a nothing. I had been doing submission wrong. I'd been trying so hard for so many years, and there was still just more and more friction in our marriage. Was that God's intention for marriage? Is that what he means when he says, if you do what is right? I'm thinking no. So I stopped focusing on the first part of the verse where it says to submit, because I couldn't do it. It was literally making things really bad for me. The word for submit is the word hupotasso. It means to line yourself up under your leader, like in military fashion, for a function and purpose. Function and purpose means there's something going on. But Dean wasn't a husband. He was a wolf. There's never anything decisive with them. There's no clear hierarchical indicators. That's not how covert narcissists operate. They only pretend that they're on the top tier in the structure. They don't actually do it or live it. So the reality is that you can't line up or position yourself in military fashion. All you can do is pretend to hupotasso. Trying to line up under your husband in military fashion, which is right, in order to fight darkness, which is why God chose a military word like hupotasso in the first place. It was to remind the couple of the real battle that was them together against darkness. Well, when you're married to a wolf instead of a difficult husband, it's a fruitless, crazy-making, confusing prospect, because what you're trying to do is line yourself up under darkness. It will not work. It's humanly impossible. That's why submission always fails. You'll be conditioned to think you're the failure for not being able to do it. So I stopped trying to see him in the position that he should be in, like all of the Christian teaching says, a position that he didn't really do, but only talked about doing.